You see them everywhere, right? Those adorable, fluffy Shih Tzus. But what if I told you that little dog has a secret history, a royal history, that's going to completely change how you see them forever?
I'm not kidding. That little fur ball on your couch, what if it wasn't just a pet? What if, for centuries, it was seen as a living, breathing, sacred symbol? We're about to dive into a world where these little dogs were, literally, more valuable than gold.
And get this, for almost 700 years, you couldn't even see one, let alone own one, unless you were actual Chinese royalty. They were a top-secret national treasure, hidden away from the entire world behind the walls of the Forbidden City. Okay, so first things first, we've got to bust a major myth. The idea that this is just a lapdog? Nope, not even close. Its origins are way more prestigious, and it all starts with what we call them. So yeah, we all say Shih Tzu, but the name, it actually means lion dog. And no, not because they look like the lions you see at the zoo. The reason is way, way cooler than that. They were literally bred on purpose to look like the mythological lions from ancient Buddhist legends. Think about it. That flowing mane, that kind of proud, noble face, it was all by design. So next time you see a Shih Tzu acting all high and mighty, that's not them being spoiled, that's their ancestry kicking in. And this design thing goes way deeper than just the fur. We're talking about a dog that was basically engineered from nose to tail for an emperor. Every single feature had a purpose inside the palace.
You know that cute, flat, smushed-in face? Total design choice. It is absolutely not an accident. It's the product of hundreds of years of very, very specific breeding. But why? Why would you go to all that trouble to create a face like that? Well, the answer tells you everything you need to know about what these dogs were for.
It really all boiled down to one goal: create the perfect indoor companion for royalty. So, a shorter snout, it looks way less threatening. The flatter face, it actually allows for more human-like expressions. And maybe most importantly, it makes it easier to have direct eye contact, which they believed was a path to a real spiritual connection. There's actually a fancy scientific name for this, you know. It's called brachycephalic. And it's all about that specific skull shape that was bred into them to make them these quiet, gentle, spiritually attuned little palace dogs. But the engineering didn't stop at the skull. You ever see how the hair on their face kind of grows outwards in a circle like a flower? Yep, that's also on purpose. It's a specific imperial grooming style they called the chrysanthemum face. And this wasn't just about looking pretty. The style was packed with symbolism. By making the dog's face look like a blooming chrysanthemum, they believed they were bringing harmony, peace, and good fortune into the palace. The dog itself became a walking, living symbol of royalty. So, okay, they were amazing companions, we get that, but they also had actual jobs to do, both practical and ceremonial. These little guys were not just sitting around looking cute, they were working members of the royal court. And their job descriptions were wild. You had royal ladies tucking them into their big sleeves to act as living hand warmers. The emperor would use them as foot warmers. They were even a top-secret alarm system. Plus, their fur was thought to actually attract positive energy. How cool is that? Yeah, that alarm system thing is incredible. They weren't trained to bark their heads off like a normal watchdog. No, they were taught to use this special, quiet, muffled kind of bark, like a private alarm that would alert the guards without making a big scene and disturbing the whole palace, just for the ears of royalty. Even just getting their hair brushed was a whole ceremony. We're talking servants using combs made of jade, special herbal oils, fancy silk ribbons. The point wasn't just to make them look good. It was a spiritual ritual, all about taking care of that positive energy their fur was supposed to be collecting. But here's where the story takes a really dramatic and almost tragic turn. After all those centuries of being protected like the crown jewels, this entire living legacy, it was almost wiped off the face of the earth. Forever.
See, when everything got turned upside down in China in the early 1900s, the royal breeding programs just fell apart. These once sacred dogs were lost, scattered. So, after all that time, all that protection, how many do you think were left to carry on the entire breed? Take a guess.
14. That's it. Just 14. It's a staggering number when you think about it. Every single Shih Tzu on the planet today, and there are millions of them, every single one comes from just 7 males and 7 females that were saved right at the last second.
This timeline just puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? I mean, you've got over 1,000 years of history, with most of that, 700 years, spent totally isolated and protected. Then, bam. Almost overnight, a huge crisis, and then this miracle rescue in the 1930s that pulled them back from total extinction. So what's the big takeaway here? Why does any of this ancient history matter? Well, because it's not just history. It's not just in some old book. It is alive and well right there in the dog that might be sitting on your floor as we speak.
Seriously, think about it. Does your Shih Tzu kind of demand attention? Hate being ignored? Well, they were bred for centuries to be the center of attention in a palace. That little prance they do, that confident floating walk, that was perfected for gliding across polished marble floors. And how they just sit and stare at you sometimes, like they're reading your soul, they were bred to be super in tune, sensitive companions for royalty. It all leads to one conclusion. Your dog isn't spoiled, it's royal.
So the next time your little Shih Tzu hops up on your lap, just remember what you're really holding. It's not just a pet, it's a living, breathing piece of ancient history. A little creature shaped by emperors, saved by a miracle, with a royal legacy baked right into its DNA. And it kind of makes you think, right? Every dog breed has some kind of story, some hidden history. So go take another look at your own pet. I wonder, what secrets are they hiding?